Welcome everybody.
Hello. Hello.
My name is Phil and this is Simon.
Hello.
We are here today to go through a bit of onboarding, beginner onboarding for Nuxt.js and Prismic.
Yeah, and a little disclaimer, I'm not a developer. I had some fundamentals of CSS, JavaScript, HTML, all of it, but never get myself into the Prismic development and Nuxt.js. So today is my first day.
Yeah.
Hopefully not the last.
Yeah, that's the idea. So the idea of the show today is we're just gonna take Simon through that process. I'm just gonna get him along, and we're gonna first create a brand new Prismic repo, create our custom types, add some content and slices. Then we'll jump over, install a new Nuxt project, query and template that, and we will then try and get as far as we can, and if possible. If within the time, we'll try and maybe do some previews and stuff.
And maybe take some questions in the end.
Yeah, we're going to try and field as many of your questions as possible during the stream. So, jump on. We're watching the YouTube all the time there. So,
yeah, and by the way, Phil from the education team.
Yeah, exactly.
He's in charge of writing, and the whole education team is in charge of writing the documentation. So if you have any suggestions or question to Phil,
yeah, this is the idea too, that as we go through this, we might be able to see if there's some things that aren't clear, and so if there's anything that you would like us to elaborate on that isn't in the documentation when it comes to stuff like this, let us know. So yeah, like Simon said, I'm on the education team. We handle all of that. We are on the community forum too. We can field any questions there. Simon works more with the customer success sort of team.
Onboarding, and yeah, we more client-facing team try to make people to adopt the features, and yeah, doing calls and demos, these sort of things.
Yeah. So we're hoping this stream lasts around an hour or so. Maybe more, maybe less. We don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Right.
And so the first thing that we want to do is we're going to jump over to our actual Prismic dashboard, and we're going to first start by creating a custom type.
Let me roll up my sleeves. This is the start getting serious. Okay, where do I go first? Let me guess. Chrome, right?
That's the one.
Okay. Everybody sees our screen there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure,
okay.
I can see.
It's first time we're doing it, so I don't know if there's any issues. So let's go to our... I already logged in previously on this computer, so I'm gonna go just to my dashboard, and I'm gonna hit create a repository, and we're gonna call it demo repo. Simon, or maybe it's too complex. No, I'm gonna just go
no,
demo.
That's whatever you want, man.
One, there's no demo content editor, and we hit create a repository. All right. So what will be the next step, Phil?
Yeah, so the first thing in the repository, well, you're pretty much a pro at the side of things. You can take us.
Okay, I was trying to play like I don't know what's happening next.
Yeah, so Simon has a lot of experience with working in the dashboard here.
Yeah.
He's used to doing stuff
Hours in dashboard work.
Yeah, so he's totally at home here, and we're going to walk through it, but it's the development stuff with Nuxt that Simon will need a bit more help with, so we're going to go through the documentation.
Okay, and we already have a hint, create a custom type. All right, let's do it. So what will be the first one?
Let's make a repeatable type, and we'll just give it a name, page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so a repeatable type and a non-repeatable type. So a non-repeatable type might be for something that you only have one of, like maybe just a contact page. Repeatable type can be used many times. In this case, we're going to go repeatable. Let's just start simple. Let's start by adding a UID.
Mm-hmm.
So we add a UID to the top field. And what a UID is a unique identifier, which will be used as the URL on our website.
Okay, URL slug.
Yeah.
Field placeholders for content editors to give them an indication what sort of field it is. So it's always nice to fill it.
Yeah, and we're gonna start really simple here. We're just gonna start by creating a slice and a text slice.
Okay.
So if you don't know what a slice is kind of like a repeatable element that you give your content creators to build pages from. So if you think of each slice like a block, building block to build your page with, when you create a custom type and you use the slice zone, you're giving your content creators like a page builder almost, giving them all the elements that they need to build really dynamic pages.
Yeah. So if you first do the concept of slices, you can tell like website sections.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a section, I don't know, with the CTA buttons and the banner. So that can be one slice. If you have, I don't know, like your image gallery slider, that can be another slice. So yeah, these elements are inside the components or slices, we call them here.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and create our slice first.
Okay, so what's the slice?
Text slice.
Text.
That's what we're going to go with here. Yeah.
Let's see, rich text.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't see behind the camera. Okay, save. Yeah. All right.
And within that rich text slice, you can add just a rich text field.
Mm-hmm.
So
In
this
the
one
non-repeatable zone, right?
in the non-repeatable zone, right? So we'll get to the repeatable zone after, but the non-repeatable zone just means that when you create one slice, you're going to see one of these fields.
Mm.
It's pretty simple. It'll make more sense when we use the non-repeatable or the repeatable zone after.
Okay.
So when you use a rich text field in Prismic, that's going to correspond to the rich text editor on the document creation page, and you have some options. Yeah. Here we have everything selected, so you can have titles and links and like italic stuff, and it's like all the different options that you want. But if you want to restrict what your content editors might have, you can like remove the H1s, H2, but I think we want them all, so if you reselect them and click save.
Okay,
yep.
Got it.
Yeah, and so that's the first slice. We're going to start with that one, and we'll click save at the top right. Yeah, and we'll go back and let's start by making that document.
All right. We don't need any slices at the moment, right?
We're going to come back and make some more slices after.
All right.
So then we move back to our documents.
Okay.
Create a new document by clicking the green pencil, and we're going to make this our home page. So we can just give it the name home. Yeah, home page, that works. Okay. And we're going to add some text. So is there anything you want to make your website about, Simon?
I wanted to make a website about maybe some basketball, NBA, all of it. So.
Okay, that's a surprise, Simon.
Yeah.
I didn't have you as a basketball fan, you know.
It's everybody knows. All the talks are about. Even though I didn't follow the last season, this ongoing season, but
you're a bad fan, man.
Yeah.
So you can probably jump over and get some content from like Wikipedia or something. Add in some text here.
All right. I've already been visiting this page because I love NBA. Okay, multiple paragraphs. I guess that's good for. Is it okay that there is external? Oh no, it's just highlighted text. Click save. Is there maybe we can add some 1, 2, 3 just to make it real. Some bullet points. All right. Anything else I should add here?
No, that's good to start. If you click save, so that will save the changes that you made, and then what happens if you click publish? And publish right now. So you also have options here to publish later at a specific date or part of a release. Releases we'll not get into now, maybe in a bit.
Yeah.
But once you click publish, what happens is all the content that has just been added is then sent through our API for your developers or yourself, if you're a developer, to have access to when you're building your application. So that is what we're going to start doing now.
So basically, when I try to explain people on our demo calls that Prismic basically stores all the content in sort of JSON text format that returns to you, and then it's up to you how you want to display it. Maybe you don't want to display it at all. Maybe that's why headless CMSs like Prismic, I feel like it gives a lot of flexibility in terms of what you can render onto page and whatnot, and like what design you can apply to it.
It's exactly that, yeah. Because with older like traditional WordPress kind of CMSs, you were kind of locked into the theme that you had.
Yeah.
Whereas this, you can choose any technology you want, but we've chosen Nuxt because I like Nuxt. I like Vue, so I like Nuxt. So what you're gonna want to do now is jump over to your terminal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can open terminal,
All
and
right.
we're going to create a new Nuxt app.
Okay.
So if you change directory to Prismic folder, cd Prismic.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we've already got done here is we've got Homebrew and Node.js and NPM all installed in our environment. If you haven't done that, you can quickly Google that. That's something that takes a few minutes to do, but we've already got that set up. So that means that we can create a new Nuxt app with npx, if you enter that into your terminal.
Okay.
npx, then create Nuxt app with hyphens,
Mm-hmm.
and then give it a name. Simon's app. That
Okay.
works. And that will start to run, and it will start to ask you a lot of questions that come with this kind of package installer.
So basically, that's the default sort of project that that Nuxt.js provides.
Exactly,
right?
yeah, Nuxt.js provides you with this, and it comes shipped part of NPM that you can run this command to install a Nuxt project. And it will come all the basics skeleton that you need to get a Nuxt app up and running. So Simon's give the project name, Simon's app, and there's a lot of questions here. We can choose all the basics. So JavaScript, NPM is the one we want to work with. None. We don't want to use any sort of UI framework because we're just going to do that ourselves. Skip through all this. Enter. We don't want to pretty or skip all through. Skip.
Okay.
Skip. And so
I try to read what's going on, Sometimes it's good to read what you're skipping, Maybe you need it, I don't know, maybe. But not this time, I guess.
Do you read all the terms and conditions?
No.
And so now what's happening is that it's installing all of the stuff that needed for the Nuxt project, and then we're greeted by this scene where we have the next steps. So we want to CD into our app.
There is a famous shortcut, a tab that I learned from one of our developers. It auto-fills the name of the folder. It's it's a pain when you have a long name of the folder. So we're in the folder.
So what you can do now, let's open this in VS Code. So if you type in code space dot, and that will open VS Code for us. That's something that you can set up in VS Code itself. If you go to the search bar and search for shell, and you can set up that shortcut that within your projects, you can start to do that. Let's run the project and quickly see it. So if you, through here, you can go to terminal at the top. I think you can open a terminal window.
At the top? Yeah, I see.
New terminal. Yeah, and then in there, you can run npm run dev. And that will run the Nuxt app locally, so you can see that, and then you can go to your local host here.
What is that? Yeah.
There we go. So it's your first Nuxt homepage.
Okay.
But what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all that, and we're going to query our data from Prismic instead.
Okay.
So if you go over to the Prismic documentation.
Okay.
Oh.
No.
That's Prism, Simon. We Prismic. We work for a different company.
My bad. I don't even know what's Prism. Okay.
You go to Nuxt. I think Prism is a code highlighter. There's a lot of Prisms. If you go to querying and templating, and query content from the CMS.
All right.
And if you see on the side menu, querying the Prismic object, and let us know if you can all see this all right. Because if it's a bit far out, let us know and we'll zoom in. So I forgot one thing. We forgot to get something set up.
What?
We didn't install our Prismic Nuxt module. That's what we're gonna do now.
Yeah, we moved too fast.
Yeah, we skipped that.
That's why I told at the beginning, don't skip.
So if you go to prismic.nuxt.js.org, so you can prismic.nuxt.js. This is the Prismic module.
I'm just gonna Google it.
No, Prismic.Nuxt.js. There's the
Oh,
one down. This is a module that we have built in so what are we here? In tandem. Like we built it alongside the people at Nuxt.js.
Yeah, built by Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy worked very closely with Sebastian Chapin to build this, and it just has everything installed in it that you would need to get a Prismic Nuxt project up and running and do all the queries and everything like that really simply. So what we're going to do to install it is if you just copy @nuxt/Prismic.
I use npm, right?
Yeah, use the npm one that you see there. And jump over to back to VS Code. You can stop the server there with Command C. Yeah. And paste that. There you go. Run that. And what happens, it'll install everything for us here. It comes with some dev dependencies, including Prismic JavaScript, Prismic DOM, and Prismic Vue. Prismic Vue has just like a component library of things that make it really easy to use Nuxt.js with Prismic. And the others are for querying the API, and the DOM, obviously it's a dependency of Prismic Vue for the DOM elements. So, okay, we've got that installed. We will need to configure it in the Nuxt config. So if you go to the Nuxt config, what we will need to do is when you go down to deny that, we don't want to use that. Go down to build modules. Just here, and you want to add. So
what's exactly in this config file? What
the Nuxt config handles all the kind of configuration settings of stuff you want to connect to your Nuxt project. So you might have your CSS as you see there for your global CSS. You might also, where you see link is where you'd link in the stuff in your header of your project for like your fonts from Google Fonts and things like that, and your plugins that you might use with the project. So
what sort of plugins? I don't know, useful.
Prism, for example. You might want the Prism plugin if you want to do some code syntax highlighting. There's various other ones, but here we're interested in this build module.
Okay.
If you go to the build module and open it up, see on line 30.
Okay. Line 30.
Yep. Go to new line, and you want to put in there in a comma and single quote.
Okay.
Single quotes.
Single quotes.
Yeah, and you type @Nuxt.js.
Wait.
I think maybe it's the keyboard. If you go back to.
I got it.
Yeah.
Nice. I was like, what do you mean by Doesn't make any sense. Okay. This is what happens when you blindly follow someone's instructions without thinking. Okay. We got it.
Nuxt.js.
Next.
Yeah. /Prismic. / Yeah, you don't need a comma at the end or full stop. / that's /. Okay, and then after line 32, do a new line, and here we want to put Prismic with colon, semicolon. Yeah, that's it. And open up with a new curly brackets.
Curly brackets. So I got it.
Okay, and now you want to type in endpoint, and this is where we add our Prismic configurations. And here, yeah, again, single quotes or commas, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that works too. And you want to put in your Prismic endpoints. So what you can do is go back to your Prismic repo.
Okay.
Yeah, you go back to your settings.
Okay.
And yeah, and you can copy your endpoint there. Just add that into your project. Copy and paste that. You need to get rid of those spaces. So what we're doing here is, like I said, the module comes with stuff that's set. Oh, you need to do a comma after the curly bracket in line 35.
It's important.
Yeah, and if you save that, that will...
Command S.
Yep. So what has happened is that we've connected the endpoint to this Prismic configuration, which is connected to the Nuxt module, and we are now able to query directly from the Prismic repository. So now we're ready to jump back to our Prismic documentation, this the step we skipped forward to earlier.
Okay, querying the object, right? The last time.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is query by UID. So if you scroll down to in pages, like I was saying before, give me 2 seconds. So I was just saying before that with this Prismic object, which comes with the Prismic module, you're able to access the Prismic API, and we give you some helper functions. These helper functions are extended from the Prismic JavaScript dependency, and what it allows us to do is perform quite complex queries a lot easier using some keywords. And so what we have on the page here is just a default kind of sample of what we would do to get a repeatable page. So if you copy that.
So meaning that every time I would create a new, potentially a new document, it will automatically grab the data. It will know that UID, or what exactly?
This one, we're going to do this first one. We're going to do it with, we're going to manually enter the ID.
Okay.
So if you copy this bit of text here, this snippet, and go back to your project, and you go to your pages directory. So your pages directory is a default directory in your Nuxt project, and you can build kind of your roots using that directory. And you click into the file, and so it has a lot of stuff already installed or already coded in here. This is what you've seen when you ran the project. We're going to delete nearly all of that. So you can replace where it says export default. So yeah, see where it says export default, line 31? You can kind of delete that and paste, no, just down to the script part.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't delete the script tag, just delete export default.
I
just delete line 31.
Okay, sorry.
No worries.
I feel pressured to know when someone looks at you while you type and he's not like.
Yeah, and you can copy and paste in just what we just got. Okay.
So good.
You need to paste it inside. Okay, it came with the script stuff. You were right. We can get rid of. If you go back, click and get rid of the script tags as well. Okay. Yeah. So what we see here, what's on this bit of code that we just pasted in, is we have used the async data function, which comes with Nuxt. That allows you to do server-side queries, and then inside that we pass it the Prismic object, which is coming from the Prismic module, and we then from that do a query for get by UID. But so here we've passed in the params. So the params is the stuff coming from the URL. We're not going to use that in this one. We're going to enter that ourselves. So you can delete that. You can delete params.
What is exactly a param?
This the parameters coming from the URL bar. So we're going to use that after.
Okay.
We're gonna do a dynamic page after, but for now we'll just do it simple. So where you see params.uid on line 33.
Params. Okay. Yeah.
Just after that, you see params.ud.
Yeah.
You can replace all of that.
By.
Yeah, and you replace that with single quotes like there, and you type in home, because that is the UID of our page we just created. So yeah, we do
homepage.
Prismic.
It was homepage.
Homepage, perfect. Yeah. So we do Prismic.api get by UID. You pass page, which is the name of the custom type, the API ID of the custom type, and then the UID homepage. So we get one specific page. And so we have returned then the content of that as document. Okay. So let's try and see some of the basic content from that page. So if you go to the top of this document, you can remove everything inside container, because we don't need any of that inside the container.
I don't see that.
So the container is the one with the class container on line 2.
Okay.
So remove everything from line 3.
So I remove everything that's inside the template, no?
Yeah, but you can leave the second one container
Okay.
because it's good. It'll kind of set the width. You're deleting container there. So so start on line 3.
Right.
There you go. No. Okay. So
Yeah.
no, I mean like, don't delete the one you just deleted, and delete everything else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, now I get it.
Okay.
Sorry, this trackpad. Okay, within.
Yeah, until the last div. So delete everything up to line 26. Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. And what we are going to do is add a new line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and here you can just add a p tag. Okay.
Oh yeah, no SP tag. Paragraph.
Yeah, exactly. That's the simplest way to add text in HTML. So add that, and if you click enter, yeah, and you can close it. So again, start another P, but you do a slash to close it. Yep. Click enter, that'll fill in automatically for you. Yeah, and inside the P tag, to access the data returned from Prismic, you need to use the Vue.js or Nuxt variables. So you use curly brackets. Curly brackets.
Curly brackets.
There you go. So you do that twice.
Like that?
Yeah, and then 2 curly brackets that close.
Okay.
Yeah. And so inside there, you want to type document .uid.
Right.
Okay, and then you can click save and run your project. So you run npm run dev, and hopefully we'll be able to see this on our page.
Okay. Let's cross our fingers.
Oh, so you have to run your project first.
Ah, yeah, we close it in the terminal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
npm run.
Dev.
See, we complete each other.
You're my soulmate, Simon.
Oh, nice to hear. Likewise, man. Okay. That was weird.
So there you go. So you see, that's your UID that just came from Prismic. So now you've successfully just queried your first.
The first step.
Okay. So now we start to get a bit more complicated. Are you ready?
Yes, buckle up.
Okay, so we're going to jump back to our Prismic documentation because we are about to build our first slice. Okay, so what I want you to do is go to template content.
You know, when someone
It's on the
okay, I found it.
And what we are going to template is the rich text. And so because we got the Prismic Vue library that came with the Prismic module, it includes some components, and you'll see these components just on the screen now. It says Prismic Rich Text, Prismic Embed, and it has some other functions above, but we're going to focus on these components. Alright, so you can, with the ones above, you can print your text as HTML or as text. As text will remove any sort of formatting that has been added by the content writers. So if your developer really wants to keep tight control on how it looks, and you don't want something to be changed with like being put in bold or having links added to it, you just use as text. But we are going to take the Prismic Rich Text components. So on the side menu again, on the right, you'll see Rich Text and Titles, and you'll see the Rich Text component.
Rich Text and Titles.
Yeah. And the Rich Text component just below.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So first, let's go to our Prismic project again on your terminal. And inside components, I want you to create a new folder.
Okay.
Call it slices. And inside slices, we'll create a new file. And we're going to call that file our text slice .vue.
Text that. Okay.
Okay. And inside here, we're going to run. We're going to open the template again. So you open a template tag.
Okay. And this
Okay.
is magic. Like before, without any plugins, you would do it all manually. This is awesome.
Yeah, but now it's done for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about the code completion now?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you will need to then copy and paste the text that the component that you just said, the rich text component.
Mm-hmm. That's the one, right?
Yep. Simple.
Yep.
And what we'll need to do now is pass props. Okay.
Props is like I learned a bit. It's like you call in from some other place. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You call in from a specific folder, a component, or explain us.
Yeah, no, that's that's exactly what it is. Props, you're getting the data from somewhere else.
Mhm.
So currently we have data on our top page.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the index.view,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to pass that data down to the component itself. So because we built slices earlier, which are blocks of a page, we have to then build components, which are also blocks of a page that correspond to the slices that we made on the Prismic website.
Okay.
So this is what we're doing now, and when we query the slices on the other side, we'll pass it into a component through the props field, and then that will pass it down to this component.
Mm-hmm.
So here what we'll need to do is call this, we'll need to open another script tag.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. And you can get rid of all that stuff. Okay, and you can type in here export default. Yeah. And open up the curly brackets again. That's the commas. You need to open the curly brackets.
Curly. I always confuse with. Okay.
And then you're going to give it a name. So just name attribute.
Name?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, with 2 dots again, so colon. Yeah, and inside some commas. Yep. You can call it a text slice if you want with use a hyphen instead of a dot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you put a comma at the end of that, and you're gonna pass the props. Okay, so new line. Type in props.
Okay.
Again, 2 dots. Yeah, and you're gonna open square brackets.
Square brackets. What's the difference? Yes.
It's that you might have multiple props, and so
Mhm.
you open up the square brackets like this, so it's where you can pass multiple properties then.
Okay.
But in this case, we just have one. We're just passing, so you open up single quotes again, so commas.
Like this?
Yeah. Yep, and you type in slice and close it. Okay. Okay, now you can save that. And the next thing we're going to do is we are going to create a slice block or slice zone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because we want to import all our slices into one place. So if you go back to your components folder, and
Right.
in the components folder, not in the slices folder,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, in there in the components folder, create a new file.
Right.
Call this our slice zone.
Dot view.
And yeah, you need dot view. Yeah. You should you should start the name of the component with a capital letter. It should be camel case, I think it's called.
Okay.
Rename that.
Okay.
And change the zone.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
second one.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, that's the best practice. And so in here, you're gonna open another template field.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and in there we'll create a section tag. So it's another HTML tag. It's
Mhm.
kind of like a div, but it's So you click perfect. And on a new line, you create another div.
Mm-hmm.
And in this div, you're going to use v4. So inside the div, the first tag of the div, inside the first tag. So before you close it, yep, do a space, v dash or hyphen.
Okay.
4. No, FOR. So
Okay.
what this does is it creates a for loop. Okay, so because the data we'll pass down here is like a group of different slices, you might have multiple slices.
Right.
You have to kind of iterate through each of the components that you've made. So you've got, say you've got a image slice, text slice,
Image again.
image again. It will go, okay, for image, use this component. For text, use this component. Image, use this component.
Okay.
And this is what you set a v4 loop for. It goes through them and prints them on the page.
Okay.
So you need to open that up, and inside some brackets, so not curly brackets, round brackets, you know. Yeah, but it also has to be inside quotes.
Okay.
Yeah, and close that. Okay, and you need to pass slice and comma, index, so space index. You put a space in there. And then just outside that bracket, okay, you need to put in slices, and you need to put spaces between the words. So put a space after in, or before in, sorry. And then so what index is, it's an index for each of the slices. So for Nuxt, that's necessary when you're creating a v4 loop, because it needs to say, okay, this is a slice, and it gives a little ID 1, 2, 3, like that. So the next field you need to create is called key, and this is what you use this index part for. So it's again inside that v4, inside the div, sorry.
Another div?
No, inside that same div before you close it.
Okay. In slices?
Yeah, no, just after the commas. Yep. Now space, and you use key, and you put index. So what you need to do is at the start of the key add a colon before it says key. Just before it says key.
Colon?
No, before.
Okay.
Because no, back again. Nearly there. No. On like just before the K. There we go. We got it.
Thanks.
So what that does, right? So in Nuxt.js, if you need to pass a variable, so something like
a JavaScript variable.
Exactly, that's coming from somewhere else. To add it to an attribute, you need to add this colon, because that then lets the attribute know that what you're passing is a variable and not just a predefined field that you have. Okay. And in there you will put also before index, just before index, you need to add 2 commas or two commas, single, just go to the right once, come back. No, I'm not using the right word, comma, apostrophes, I keep saying.
Apostrophe.
Yeah, give it 2 apostrophes, and then, no, that's good, that's a quote. So it's
okay, I got it. It's something.
Yeah. Okay, and type slice, hyphen, and again an apostrophe. Do space plus space, and put another space before that, before the plus sign. And so what that does is it interpolates those like together.
I just recently learned it on free code camp, like connotations, or
yeah.
When you combine the.
Yeah, I think it's string interpolation. Yeah. So I'm not the best at it myself with all the words. So now what you have done is you've created the loop for your slices, and we will also need to add the check to see which slice that is. So what you want to create is you can delete your spaces there and start on a new line.
Okay.
Yeah. Do another tab. Okay, and here you open a template tag, right? And in here you're going to do a vif. So just like the v4, except you say vif. And this is where you can specify something. So v, again, Yeah, and you can see
If?
it there. Yep. And inside here you say vif slice.
Again, the if.
No, just you
okay,
already
okay.
said slice dot underscore type equals. No, inside the yeah.
Use space.
Yeah, 3 equals. So equals is when you tell it to be really sure. It needs to be exact of what is going to be here.
Right.
Equals. I think we just called it text, wasn't it? The name of the slice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the text needs to be in. It needs to be a string, so it needs to be inside the apostrophes. It's not a variable in this case. Yeah. Exactly. And then you can delete that space after. Okay, and inside there, you want a new line. And if you go back to the slice that you created, can you reopen that? And you need to change the name of that slice.
Okay.
Yeah, the name of the file. You need to rename that capital T text and slice capital S. This is just so we have 2 words. This is the best practices. All right, then I see that you can save that now. You can just back out, and you've called it text slice.
Right.
Okay, so you can copy that name, the one inside the file. Sorry. Yeah. And you go back to your slice zone, and that name that you put in the file, that's going to act as the HTML tag for your component. So, so you can call the component as a HTML tag.
Okay.
So what you do is open a new HTML tag like you would for the other ones, and type in text slice. So new line, yeah.
Like that?
No, it's the name of the slice, which is the HTML tag. See, so if you copy and paste that now, but with an open bracket, like you did.
Open bracket.
Yeah, just see the way you have template, and you have a bracket at the start of it. That's how you open a HTML tag.
Okay.
Okay. So now text slice itself is a HTML tag. So
I might miss an.
Yeah, it's alright. So you know when you open a p tag, there's the bracket looks like that.
Yeah.
Now text slice works like that now because it is a component.
Okay. All right.
So the same way you open a div or something else, and you can get rid of the commas. Or the quotes, sorry. Yeah, exactly. And inside where you say text slice, inside that tag, you space and you do colon. Slice. So you need to put the colon beside slice and not beside text slice, you see? Because again, we're creating an attribute, and the colon is letting that attribute know that you're about to pass a variable.
Alright.
Okay. So just like the ones above, you open that with quotes.
Okay.
Yeah, and you write in slice. Yeah, close it with quotes. Yeah, and you need to delete inside it. You've added some apostrophes. You can get rid of those. So apostrophes are the single quotes, and quotes are double quotes. Okay, so you've deleted the wrong ones, which is all right because we're learning. Yeah.
Apostrophes are removed.
and at the end of where it says slice, first doing equals. So it says slice equals double quotes slice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Perfect. So that means you've passed the slice from the V4. So you did a V4 loop through all the slices.
Right.
And you've then identified a text slice and passed the data from that text slice as a prop down to your text component.
Okay, to this one, right?
Yeah, exactly. And see on line 9 where you have slice, That's where you've got the data. So it's came through, you passed your slices, it's came in here, and you've passed it as a prop and used that prop is what we'll do here. We need to update this.
Okay.
So we'll get rid of the HTML serializer. Ooh, pardon me. Sorry. What we'll need to do here is access the actual field, which you say slice.
And replace the value here.
Yeah, replace the value of slice dot primary, which means you're accessing the non-repeatable zone. And do you remember the name of that field inside the slice?
The text. It was
the API ID.
It was text.
Okay, let's check it. Yeah, at the bottom text. So we're just going to do that. Slice.primary.text. Okay, you can save that. And you can go to the slice zone the component again. You need to close your template. You need to close your text slice tag. So
with
it's the same, yeah. Yeah, and if you the slash command, and then close that, and close the template one the same. So you need to at the other side of the text slice, because when you close template at the other side of text slice, because then text slice is inside template.
Okay. I mean here, right?
No, after text slice. So here you're on so on line
After.
6. Line 6.
Right. Yeah. Tab.
Template.
Okay.
Good job. Okay, and
It's
now
first slice.
yeah, nearly there. And now what we need to do is get the data. So if you need to open up a script tag again below template. So remember, the template is where all your HTML goes, and the script tag is where you do your JS. So you need to go to a new line, script,
Okay.
and get rid of all this stuff. Export default.
Default.
Yeah, and again curly brackets. Open it up. And that's double quotes, so curly brackets.
I mean, when I'm under pressure,
It's you're speaking a second language here too, man. So I totally don't blame you. So new lines, and then you need to find the props again. So because up here you said slices is the props, that's what you need to put inside here again. So you do props, and you need to do your colon.
Colon.
Yeah, and then open up your square brackets. Okay. Okay, inside single quotes. Slices. So
Wait.
Single.
Single.
There you go. Slices. Okay, that's great. And I do a comma after props.
Okay.
New line. And in there you need to put the name of this component, because the slice zone that we've just created is also a component. You need to give that again set a field called name, colon, single quotes, apostrophes. Yeah, you call this slice zone, slice hyphen zone. Okay, and what we need to do now is, because we've called text slice here, we've only talked about it in the template section, but we haven't actually imported it into this page for us to use. Okay, so it's here, but the slice zone doesn't know where it is.
Okay.
Doesn't know where it exists. So what you need to do is, before export default, you need to take a new line and we need to import that. Okay, so that's what,
the data from the text slice.
Exactly. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called a dynamic import. So a dynamic import means that it will only import the whatever we're talking about here, which is a component. It'll only import that component when it's used. So this loop will be run every time we build a page, because we're going to import the slice zone. So every time we use a page, we create a page, it'll use the slice zone, run the loop on everything. But if we set these as dynamic imports, then it will only import these components if they are used on that page. It'll therefore
once they return from Prismic API. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it'll therefore make building the page faster. So you set the dynamic import as a constant. So it's a variable. So you do const, yeah, and you call it text slice, just like with the capitals, like you do for the file name. Okay, and you do equals, and then 2 round brackets, open and close, and then you do after that space equals, and then a triangle bracket like this. No, close. You're getting there. No, that's not the one.
Triangle.
Yeah, like how do you say that? Arrow bracket to the right.
First time I hear the arrow.
Like see, like you do here. This
okay.
You put that here.
Just a bracket.
Yeah, with the right angle one. There we go. And now your space, you get rid of that type import, and then open a round bracket. And in here we have to do double quotes, and we are going to specify the path to text slice. Okay, so to specify that, you go ... / components, yeah, / slices /
text slice,
yeah, .view. Okay, save that. So now you've created your slice zone. Finally, back to our home page. And we need to do the same here. We need to import the slice zone that we just created.
Okay.
Okay. So back on the home page.
Okay.
Before export.default.
Okay.
We want to import the slice zone.
So we call import.
Yeah, and this time we're just going to do a standard import because we're always going to need the slice zone. So import space slice zone like we defined before with the capitals. Okay, space from single quotes or apostrophes. And you're going to do a curly line. Can you do that?
Curly line.
Like this.
No. Teach me. Or is it?
I'm not sure on your keyboard.
Yeah, I see it. No. Curly line.
It's alright. We can do the same thing as before. I think we can do the ... instead. / components / slice zone.view.
Okay.
You need to do the what do you call it? The slice zone needs to have the capital S, capital Z.
Yeah.
Okay, now there's a little quiz for you. There's something wrong with your import. Do you know what it is?
It's not highlighted for some reason, because usually it's.
So why do you think it's not highlighted?
Because usually when I look at the other project files, it's on the top. It should be at the top, right?
Not in this case. It should be in your. It should be near your JavaScript. So.
It should be in the script.
Exactly. Yeah. So it should be in your script before your export.
Okay.
Okay. And what you need to do then is just after export default on line, create a new line after line 10. Create a new line, yeah. And you need to define components. This is where you need to say what your components for this page are. You just write the components attribute.
Alright.
Okay. And remember you have to open that with a colon. And then
with the colons.
Colons, 2 dots.
Mm-hmm.
Curly brackets. And then you do slice zone like you just defined before, so you can copy and paste it straight in. Okay, and just after the curly bracket, you do a comma.
I have a feeling that in the end, when we try to run the project, there is somewhere going to be missing comma.
Usually how it happens. And I think I just remembered we forgot something on our slice zone. We forgot to do exactly this. So you can copy your components field. Copy that.
This one?
Yeah, you copy all of it down to the bracket, the closing bracket. No, so just the components part.
Okay.
Copy that. So yeah, there. And go back to your slice zone file. Okay, and we need to do that here as well.
Here?
Yeah. Just after name. So do a comma after the name field. Yep. And paste. Replace slice zone with text slice. Because you need to define components here. Yep. Okay, and you can do a tab on it on the bracket below. Yeah, and on the text slice itself. Yep. Okay. Just get rid of that. Okay, now you can save that. Okay, and back to our index.view file.
Right.
Okay, so there's a couple of things we need to do to finish. Okay, we need to first define slices as a variable, because what we have done here is we have only returned the document, and so we can only return access things on the top level. So what we want to do is, if we put this on a new line, and let me see this, we want to, oh, my bad. We want to return slices as a variable. So you type slices, and then and then you're gonna access.
I learn fast.
Exactly. Document dot data. So we access document.uid because it's on the top level of the document we returned. Data is how you access the actual content of the page.
Okay.
And then for the slice zone, you have to say body. Document.data.body.
Okay.
Okay, and you should do a comma, after document above.
Okay.
Okay. And now,
I put right the comma after the body.
yeah, that's no problem. Won't break anything. We seem to be doing something wrong here. Okay. Okay. Maybe we need to get this curly bracket from somewhere.
Shift. Shift. You should use shift, I think, for the.
Hopefully that will work. We'll soon find out. And now, like you used the text slice component as a tag on the slice zone, you need to do that on your homepage.
Okay.
So we want you to replace the p tag. I want you to replace the p tag with a slice zone tag. No, so you're going to delete the entire p tag. Delete everything on line 3 only. Okay, do a tab. Now open a tag and slice zone. No.
Just slice zone.
Do you remember how you use the text slice?
No.
Do you want to go back and have a look at the slice zone?
Where? Okay.
No, the slice zone. I see you opened up text slice.
Okay. No, I'm not slice zone.
Do you see on text on line 5? You opened up text slice because you imported it here and you defined it, so you could then use it as a HTML tag.
Okay. Okay.
So that's what you're gonna do here.
text.
So yeah, but you want to get rid of your P.
You're right.
But you need your bracket.
Uh,
There you go. And you need to then again
close it.
Yeah, close it. So yeah. Okay, but you didn't need text slice here. We'll use slice zone. Okay.
Slice zone. Right?
I believe the name is slice zone like this. So
Wait.
yeah. So hold on. I think this might be causing problems. I don't know. How did you add that?
You
in?
want to take over?
Did you copy and paste
No.
those in? Right. So type slice zone like you did. No capitals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Slice zone with a hyphen.
Mm-hmm.
No, with a hyphen between zone and slice.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm just getting stressed. Like I'm doing something wrong.
That's all right.
Slice
Man,
zone.
like, this is part of learning. So there we
Okay.
go. Now you can close that.
Mm-hmm.
Close it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I wanted the auto close plugin that we talked before.
It's actually there, but you still need to define where you close it. So
Okay.
in the first part of that tag, you need to pass down the slices information from here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I want you to do that here. No, you've defined it as a variable,
Mm-hmm.
so you need to pass it as a prop.
Okay, so it's document data body.
But you've got it here. You see, we've
Mhm.
already said that. So when you say slices here,
Mm-hmm.
that means document.body.
All right. Oh, yeah.
So what you're going to do is pass it here to the slice zone, but as a
Mhm.
prop. So we've already done this once before, if you want to check it.
Like enter.
Yeah, do you remember we did it with the text slice? If you go
No.
back and have a look in the slice zone,
Okay.
in the slice zone, you can see in the text slice, you said slice equals slice.
Wait. Which line?
On line 5,
Okay.
you said slice equals slice.
Okay.
You're going to do exactly the same thing on the slice zone on the homepage,
Mm-hmm.
except it's going to say slices equals slices.
Okay. Slices equals slices. Okay. Gotcha. So what I do here, right? Any questions? Slices.
Equals slices in commas.
Did I do it right?
Yeah, you're missing something. So you need a space between slice zone and the attribute.
Okay.
Now, you can breathe for a second, Simon, if you need, right? There you go. Okay. So,
I feel like I'm doing the wrong. You
yeah,
know.
that's it. There you go. You got it.
Okay.
Okay. So that should be double quotes, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Maybe it's not totally necessary, but that's what I do. And the colon you added,
Mm-hmm.
you've added at the end of slice zone and not at the start of slices. Do you see that on line 3? Yeah. Yeah. See the difference there is
Yeah.
that the color of slices then changes
Mhm.
because you've then added a variable.
Yeah.
So let's try and run this. So if you save the page, I think it's going to break because of our import, but let's see. Yeah. Okay. So let me see if I can get a curly bracket one. If anyone has any tips on how to get a curly bracket in here, that would be it's this damn keyboard. No.
I've never used curly brackets before until this day.
It's not a curly bracket. Sorry, my bad. It's a wavy line. I don't know what you call this stuff.
Just good old Google
Curly line symbol.
tilt.
Okay, let's just copy and paste that. Okay, when all else fails. Okay. Save. And there we go. So
Success.
we're there. Okay, so now if we go back to localhost 3000. Yeah, there we go.
We got the text.
You've successfully added your first slice. You've iterated
It's
through your
amazing.
slices.
The paragraphs, everything.
Yeah.
The toolbar.
Yeah. So you know what the toolbar is.
Yeah.
If you'd like to explain that to everybody.
No, yeah, let you do it.
So the toolbar is just something that's automatically included with the Nuxt module. So it allows you to have this fancy edit button and dev mode here, which also shows you all the content being returned from the API. So if you add more slices and need to know the names and stuff like that, you can easily access it here. And what it also does is enables previews for you.
Right.
And that's the final thing we're going to do. So we've ran now, we're like an hour and 5 minutes. We're going to take the last couple of minutes just to do our previews.
Right.
Okay, we haven't done any sort of CSS and stuff like
We
that.
were planning to do 3 slices, but we finished only 1 today.
Well, let's put a tab in it and we'll say maybe we'll
Yeah.
come back and do more in part 2.
Right.
But
I'll do my homework before curly brackets. I'm gonna learn the terminology.
yeah, I need to do that too. I think my definition of the time was wrong. It's curly brackets, okay, double quotes.
Apostrophe.
Okay. But we're just going to do previews, all right? So we both know, as I just said, with the Prismic Nuxt module, previews are already installed,
Okay.
okay? But the only thing we have to do is
to go to that.
define them in Prismic.
Okay.
So previews, when I say that, I mean content previews. So if you go back to your Prismic dashboard, content previews means that you can make a change to your content on your Prismic page. So, hold on, just what a content preview means is like if you have a live website and one of your content creators wants to test what some content might look like, then they can jump over, type in their content, hit preview, and it'll be shown in their browser on top of the live website without incurring any build costs or causing any issues for stuff that's already published. Really awesome feature, and we're going to have a look at that just now. So in your Prismic settings, where Simon has just went to in the preview section, we need to define the preview. He's given it a name, preview, but it's better to call this one localhost or local, whatever you want to call it, because it's more descriptive of what it is, because you might have one for your live website and one for development locally.
Right.
And then domain for your application, you need a localhost 3000.
Okay.
So you can probably copy and paste it from the page. Yeah.
Okay.
And / preview. And create your preview.
Here.
Yeah. And so that now exists. If you go back, let me think what we have to do first before this works. We have to define a link resolver.
Right.
Okay. The reason you need to define a link resolver here is because the preview will access the link resolver, and then it will know where to go. It will know which page to redirect to and add the content that it's sending through the browser on top of.
Right.
Okay. To define a link resolver in the Nuxt project, we have to do it in the same place that we defined our API endpoint at the very start of the project.
In the config file.
In the Nuxt config. So if you want to see how to define your link resolver, jump back over to the Prismic.Nuxt.js website. That's here. And you can see configuration would be where you need to look.
Right.
And on the right hand menu you'll see link resolver.
Right.
Okay, that's it. If you just copy and paste the part where it says link resolver, because you don't want to overwrite what we'll have in our project, so just the link resolver, and yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good, that works. And just put a comma after API endpoint here in your Nuxt config. New line, link resolver, and then new line. No, inside after the curly bracket. Okay, and in here you want to do an if.
If?
Yeah, an if loop, okay.
Okay.
Okay, and inside this function, what you want to say is, let me see, if what's better here, I think actually, is if we add a link resolver file. Okay, because
on top of the What's the difference?
It just kind of separates your concerns and doesn't make it too kind of bulky here, but no, it'll work here.
Okay.
It's fine. Let's do if and round brackets,
Right.
and you say doc.uid equals
Triple, double.
triple and single commas. What do we single quote.
Apostrophe.
Yeah, that's apostrophe. Homepage. Yeah, you can get rid of the double quote after.
Okay.
And then curly brackets after your closed ones. So curly bracket, open. So curly bracket here.
Okay.
Yeah. Enter. And you say return space and two single quotes. Yeah, and get rid of that. Get there, we're getting there, almost. Got it. Okay, inside there, just a /. That means it'll return the home page. What we just need to do now is go to a new line on 38.
Okay.
New line. And close the link resolver.
With the
Curly bracket. Yeah. Right, curly bracket. Okay, so you can click save. So when you're creating a link resolver, you have different options there. You can doc.uid, doc.type, the doc.tags, stuff like this. You can have lots of different ways to give the link resolver information that will allow it to create links through your project to different types. So like if
I want to build a content relationship, right?
Yeah, exactly, and you want it to know what one document is, and so if you've got an about page, and if you add links, it needs to know how to create the route. So say we had an about page, and we wanted this to be like about. You need to say if the UID is about, or you can pass the UID in here manually.
Okay.
And you can just define what the routes will look like for your page like that. Okay. So now we've got a preview set up. We can go back and actually edit the content. So if you jump back to your Prismic repository, it's the last thing we'll do. And you add some content in here. Okay.
Or we can add new slice.
Yeah, let's do that.
Preview slice.
Okay, maybe add an image. Or
PNG.
Yeah.
Save.
And preview. And this should redirect to the project. There
wow.
You go. Wow, that's a lovely big image.
We did it. We did it.
Yeah, you made it to the end.
First slice together.
Yeah, looks good. I think we went over our time, but we got there in the end.
Yeah.
So, so everything you've done so far, you have created a new Prismic repo, added a custom type, added your content, created a slice in for creating your content. You then, in your project, you created a new Nuxt project. You added the Prismic Nuxt module.
Right.
Okay. You queried your content from Prismic. You created a slice zone to deal with all the different types of slice zone components, and you created your first component and passed all that data down as props.
Right.
And on top of that, you showed what it would be like to then preview content which isn't live yet on top of your project without your actual live project there.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it was a good start.
So if you let's imagine that I'm a new developer, maybe more experienced in JavaScript. What are the concepts that you would recommend to learn first with Prismic? Like, what's the first thing that you should go and grasp?
Is that if you want to?
Yeah.
Develop
if I'm going back tomorrow today home, where should I work? I mean, I probably need to work on many things, but.
Okay, yeah. For you specifically, and me, I think we need to learn on improve our English and concepts on what curly brackets and double quotes are.
Right.
But I think for everyone else, I think the best thing to look into there is slices and kind of how you build your own slices, and I think maybe we can do a second episode where we actually build more complicated slices.
Yeah.
Because what we've obviously done here is quite basic, and we can build more complicated things, image galleries, banner slices, stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Once you kind of get the concept that slices are building blocks, and given those you can build dynamic pages, you can start to see how you can create a really dynamic website very easily. I think that's what we should do. That we'll put
maybe a bit of CSS to put.
Yeah,
to
well,
make your
we
website
also,
beautiful.
so like if we wanted to add some CSS, we didn't get time to do that. It would be in the bottom of your page,
Right.
or in your component. You create a style tag, and inside that you add your CSS or your Sass. I think that's what we'll do next time. We'll start to add our global CSS, start adding some more slices, and really flesh out the website. And
looking forward to it.
maybe some NBA images, even though this guy might look like a basketball player, but like with his, I think you've got some trousers like that.
Yeah, I used to.
So for all the stuff that we worked on in this video here, we'll put the links in the description afterwards. I think this video will publish after. And we'll add some timestamps for the things that were in there, so a lot of talk about brackets and stuff.
Yeah, and thanks for watching, and let us know if you have any questions.
Yeah, it was really fun talking with everybody. Even though I'm sorry we didn't get to see the comments and stuff, we weren't so reactive on that.
There's some questions, no? Was there? Okay, we're not gonna tackle him today.
Let me see if there was any. Yeah, we didn't get a lot of questions, but hopefully we'll try and improve on this, and we'll get a few more of these done, and we get into more detail on actually developing our slices and creating dynamic websites.
The first trial, we'll get better for sure. Yeah,
definitely. It was fun talking with everyone. So we're just gonna leave you everyone now, and see you next time.
Hi, bye.